good week for Kirby Smart. He got himself a little shot in on Johnny Manzel at a coaching clinic earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been in the news a little bit this week. Let's hear Kirby on Johnny football.
What do these guys have in common? Speak up. Heisman. It's a good answer. That's actually true. They're definitely quarterbacks. That's the most elementary thing. Heisman, quarterbacks, champions. He ain't champion of what? Champion of fireball. All right. I'm gonna go here for you. There's Heisman, right? They all had great days versus our defenses. Okay, they both, all four of them went off on us in some way, shape, or form. Okay, but the Heisman.
So Kirby's trying to compliment Johnny Manzel and ends up hitting him with a stray, calling him the champion of fireball.
I mean, I was the champion of fireball at one point in my life. I don't know, but maybe not quite
among us.
Yeah.
Would you rather be champion of fireball, champion of Jagermeister?
We were at this resort with some friends this week in Cabo for my wife's brother's 40th birthday. So all of his friends are like the 40-year-olds, really cool dudes. But one of them is just hitting Jaeger bombs over and over and over again while we were on vacation. And I was like thinking to myself, like, this guy's the best guy I've ever met. But also, why are we doing Jaeger bombs? I don't know. Is there an age cap to that, or?
I think there should be.
Isn't that the booze that kids drink when they're first learning how to drink?
I've never once craved Jagermeister. Never once have I said, boy, could I use some Jagermeister right now. And I don't think anybody has felt that way. Fireball is a little bit like, I think what happened is people who grew up on Jaeger invented Fireball because they're like, we could do this where it actually tastes somewhat good.
Well, Jaeger is black licorice, right? It's the same flavor as black licorice.
Like Sambuca-ish. Yeah.
I don't know what that
black
means. Licorice
is gross.
And then Fireball's like big red gum, right?
Exactly.
So you just need to come up with like a Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich flavor, and then I'm in.
Man, or a frosty flavor.
Yeah, that's
Wendy's has a Girl Scouts Thin Mint Frosty right now. Like, make that alcoholic, and I'm in. Yeah.
Oof.
Exactly.
It's unseasonably warm in Dallas this week. It was 11 degrees when we left Cabo, and it was 78 when we got back. So, but if it is unseasonably warm in your town, and you're in my town, you will see my toes. I'm going to wear some Birkenstocks. I'm going to get some ice cream today.
There you go. Well, Kirby, dredging up bad, like, it's funny because that thing hit because of what he said about Johnny Manzel, which I don't think Johnny took offense at that. I mean, we saw Johnny in the documentary. He was pretty forthcoming about the party favors he was dealing with at Texas A&M. So basically Kirby just dredging up terrible memories about playing against Joe Burrow and Cam Newton and Johnny Manzel. So I guess that's good that Kirby's not to the point where he's gotten so used to winning and so good at everything that he can't look back and be like, yeah, there were some times when they got us.
Do you want to? So here's the thing. I know we're like playing around right now.
Yeah.
But I have sensed something with Kirby. And I've sensed something from Georgia fans, and we have a Georgia fan in here who is ribbing me, so you can be my North Star on this. Obviously, he is a made man. He is the number one coach in my list of top 25 coaches in the sport. I'm not negging him at all, okay?
Okay.
I do feel like Georgia fans are starting to become frustrated with him for the first time in a long time.
I would agree with that. And I think it's the same frustrations they had pre-Todd Monken. It's the same frustrations they had about the offense where they feel like it's not run the way they would like it to be run. But now, basically, at any time Mike Bobo has been the University of Georgia's offensive coordinator, there has been criticism of Mike Bobo as UGA's OC. Now, I would say that during his tenure there under Mark Richt, their offense was very good. They had Aaron Murray at quarterback. I don't think the offense was the problem. This past year, yeah, the offense probably was the problem. Like, the defense was still very good. I don't know, but I'm not sure. You tell me. Was it a personnel problem or a scheme
That's what
problem?
I'm going to ask you.
Or a little bit of both?
I think it probably was a personnel problem more than anything. I've been on the show for 3 years now saying I think Carson Beck is really good, but not elite. Right. Like, and people at times got mad at that. But I think that even a Georgia fan, maybe looking in the mirror right now, would probably agree that, Carson Beck didn't hit a level of stardom or efficiency that once seemed like pretty likely when, he was, I think, going into this past year was considered a potential Heisman favorite / first round.
Yeah. And you take Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey out of the equation, and suddenly things look different. There's Ladd McConkey.
And he's, and by the way, with what this man is doing in the NFL, I think it's kind of, proving.
Well, and Brock Bowers too. I mean, there was an argument, like a legitimate argument this season, whether Brock Bowers was already the best tight end in the NFL. So that's the thing that I'm curious about.
Them, Andy. That's the thing. It's like Georgia for so many years was just like the other big dogs of the sport, right? Like you have guys like that, but it's like Marvin Harrison leaves and then Jeremiah Smith comes in. Like, that's how it's supposed to work at these places. And it did not work there. And I know that Dom Lovett was pretty good, and they had some guys that, made some plays in big moments, but they didn't have a person on there. They didn't have a Ryan Williams, right? Like, they didn't have somebody that you knew. I mean, Oscar Delp is good, but like, is he somebody that you knew was going to step up in the right time? Like, I just, like, to me, it's like, but it's also the problem of hiring your friends, right? Like, if you hire your friend when things aren't ideal, people are going to accuse you of being a loyalist. And
Correct.
That is probably okay. We have seen some coaches be loyalists for different reasons, but like, I think you could make the case, and this is my personal experience as a reporter, that Urban Meyer lost his fastball at the end of his Ohio State tenure because he was loyal to coaches that were in his wedding party that might not have been the best fit. So I'm not saying that that's Mike Bobo, but it is an interesting dynamic because in my mind, if you win 2 national championships in 3 years, you are like bulletproof from criticism for at least a decade, right? And like, now that we're talking about Kirby,
it's the SEC and the top level of the SEC, so no, your fans will begin to critique you almost immediately again.
So that's where I wanted to take this. Like, how long of a runway does Kirby Smart have in your mind from years like this past year before things get like contentious?
I think he's got a while. And I also think because of the way he recruits that there are going to be some more really good years where they are either in the national title game or they win the national title, and then it doesn't matter. And then it's not going to be a problem. But yeah, I mean, look, they're going to have to be better on offense if they're going to make the national title game, if they're going to win national titles. So Bobo's going to have to prove that. And it's interesting with this particular dynamic, with the Mike Bobo, Kirby Smart dynamic. They played together. They are really good friends. Mike Bobo, when he was fired at Colorado State, was coming back to the SEC, coming back to his area of the country as an OC. And I believe there was a conversation about maybe Mike Bobo coming to Georgia, and he ended up going to work with Will Muschamp at South Carolina, who was another one of their college teammates, for the express reason of, I don't know that, me and Kirby should work together because that's how people are going to look at it. And in that particular instance, they do James Coley for a year. That didn't really work out. And then they go get Todd Monken, and all of a sudden everything takes off. Now, Todd Monken, as we're finding out, really good no matter where he is, may wind up being an NFL head coach because he's had so much success as the Ravens offensive coordinator. So I think that is the biggest piece of it. But the question, I think, with Bobo, because I've never been a massive Mike Bobo critic. Like, I love to do the run the damn ball, Bobo, because it's funny.
Yeah.
Like, it used to drive them insane during the Mark Richt era, where if he called a pass inside the 5-yard line, like the whole fan base was up in arms. But
that's the origination of the hat, run the damn ball, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because like the Georgia, okay.
So, but if you look at those offenses, they were very efficient, very good offenses. So I'm not that out on Mike Bobo. I do think it was more of a personnel thing, and Georgia, given the way they recruit, should not have personnel things like that. So perhaps that does fix itself with the development of some younger players, and we'll find out.
Noah is in the chat here while in
he's in class. Noah is in class at Georgia right now.
Listen, I want to promote our show and I want you to listen and be here with us, Noah. But if you're in a financial class about investing, you should turn this off and pay attention. Because that's going to be the
Hey, Noah, don't listen to Ari. Ari, I'm not giving up a single viewer here.
I know.
I want every viewer we can get, even if they're also in class. So tell your friends, Noah, to tune in. You already took notes, so you can hand them your notes.